Welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next. If you're not too careful, you just might learn something. Hi there! Welcome back to another episode of MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next, and if you're not too careful, you just might learn something. As did I. So, you've heard me mention on in a lot of my previous videos where I like and prefer to buy local anytime I can. You know, I want to see any money that I spend go into my community and to benefit my community. I had the misfortune of my Mercedes here hitting a giant pothole and destroying the two right side rims. I ordered a replacement set of wheels, a full set, because that was cheaper than buying two Mercedes rims, new, used, refurbished, otherwise. So, and I did it online, and I'm here to tell you that while the company I dealt with was very helpful, very sympathetic to the problems I'm fixing to describe, you know, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that none of it was their fault. You know, they're responsible. They're the person. They're the company I'm dealing with. I got my wheels. They sent the wrong installation kit. This car, when you stick aftermarket wheels on it, you need a hub-centric ring adapter and you need replacement wheel bolts, because Mercedes, a lot of your German vehicles, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Beamer, and all that, they use wheel bolts instead of a lug nut. So I knew right away I had a problem. I call them back. They work it out. You know, they will ship it to you next day air. Well, it took like 3 days, and it finally came, and it was wrong again. So I ended up having to go and source them local. It cost me like $100 extra, and it's just been a nightmare. So this is all part of the mechanic's curse, and you know, if you're a mechanic and you fix your own stuff, you guaranteed the weirdest things will go wrong with you, because, you know, anyway. But I want to give a major shout out to a local company, well, reasonably local. They're down the road about 30 miles, but local as you can get. It's a company called Rim Time, and they're in Madison, Tennessee. And they had wheel bolts to fit a 2010 Mercedes S-Class. They had the hub-centric rings in stock, and you know, me and the proprietor were cutting up and joking all about, you know, my situation, and you know, I should have just went local and bought them local. You know, it would have been pretty much the same price and 0% aggravation. So there you go. Whenever you can buy local, even if it takes a little longer. So, there, I'm done ranting. Let's look at what I got here for wheels. So these are the wheels that I got. These are made by a company called Touren, T-O-U-R-E-N. I mean, they're Chinese aftermarket wheels, and I got the whole set of them. By the time it was all said and done, it was like $700 and some, but you know, I mean, I didn't want a crappy looking wheel on the car, but you know, I'm not looking to dub it out with 26s either. So I wanted something understated and fits the theme of the car, which of course is all black and so forth. And there you have it. So there they are, with a fresh set of Michelin Pilot Sport AS3 Pluses on them, because the two tires that hit the pothole, you know, their sidewalls were damaged, and there's no point in putting two new tires on one side of the car. I'll just put the whole set on it and be done with it, because I hadn't put tires on it since I bought the car a year or so ago anyway. So yeah, these wheels have center caps on them That was a requirement for me also, was that they have a center cap, because most of your aftermarket wheels come with dual bolt pattern. And to me, when I see a car with aftermarket wheels on it that doesn't have some sort of cap to hide that, it just looks ugly. So next we'll talk about the hub centric rings and all that good stuff. Alright, now back in the day, you know, most cars centered the rim on the hub with just the lug nuts, and your lug nuts had this kind of conical seat. You know, when you got 5 of those on there, all with a conical seat, it would line that wheel up and center it on the hub, because if it's not centered, then the wheel will be doing this. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but that's essentially what happens. And you know, you'll have a vibration or a shake going down the road, and you don't want that. So later on, as machine tools and machining and factory building whatever got better, they went to a hub-centric design. So while even though the lugs still have, you know, a conical seat on them, which helps line it up, the actual centering of the wheel on the hub is done with this little hub that sticks out. So the wheel fits kind of snug. Now the downside to that is, especially if you have an aluminum wheel, you know, corrosion will build up here, and then the wheel will get stuck, and then you'll play heck getting the tire off when you're on the side of the road with a flat. But that's a story for another day. The problem is many times aftermarket wheels, you know, they're designed to fit more than one car. So they'll have a hole, the center hub, or center bore is what they call it, in the rim will be large. And then you use different adapter rings to put on here to make it fit the rim. And just like the fact that the rim has dual bolt patterns on it, you know, so they don't have to make 115 million different rims. You know, they can kind of double up, and you know, it keeps costs down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have to clean this up, get any rust or corrosion off of there, and then I'll show you our hub centric rings. Alright, so now let's get this little surface here cleaned up. Little wire wheel like this, and get in there on the frame. Goes on the end of a drill, works great for that. And then we put our little hub centric ring on here, and what that does is that will make sure that the wheel is centered on the hub, and when it's spinning, it spins nice and smooth. Most of the time when you buy aftermarket wheels, especially if you have you know, wheel bolts, like in the case of a, you know, Mercedes, Volkswagen, or whatever, you end up having to buy a new set, okay, because this portion here is too long. This is the appropriate length for these aftermarket wheels, and you can see there's a good bit of difference there. So what would happen is this bolt would bottom out and never tighten the wheel up. And most of the time they come with a funky head on them, but when you buy them, you know, they give you this adapter. It fits on there, and then you got your standard socket here. But remember, when you're doing this with aftermarket aluminum wheels, it's always best to torque them by hand. Don't whiz the shit out of them with an impact, especially if you're using a, you know, adapter like this, because see how thin that wall is? You know, if you've got a honking impact like my buddy Daddy Tech Ant does, you know, you're liable to just blow that adapter apart. So let's get our rim on here and see what it looks like, shall we? See, that hub-centric ring adapter will ensure that that wheel is perfectly centered on that hub, so it'll run nice and true going down the road. You won't have any vibration or shake or anything like that. And that's especially important when you have a wheel like this that goes on this Mercedes. You know, it's a big honking wide tire, and that's a lot of mass rolling down the road to be flopping up and down and vibrating on you. And what you do is you snug these up by hand so you can get them snug and get all the rest of your bolts in there. And here's something else too that I learned. This is my first set of aftermarket wheels that I've ever purchased. I know that sounds kind of strange. Mike, you've been working on cars for 30 some odd years. You mean to tell me you never bought a set of aftermarket wheels? Nope. But in the paperwork that I was given with these wheels in the warranty, so it's always important to read the fine print in the warranty, they tell you, number one, you hand torque the wheels, and they also said that you should never torque these wheels with the weight of the car on them. You know, normally you would think, okay, well, if I'm gonna hand torque the wheels, I need the car on the ground so the wheel doesn't spin around. And you know, you can do that to a point, you know, if you let your jack down and have just enough pressure to hold the tire steady. But yeah, you're not supposed to have the weight of the car on these lugs while you're torquing them, which is like I said, that was news to me. Learn something new every day. Even MacGyver, you know, if you're not too careful, you might learn something. I teach myself stuff all the time. Alright, so let me get these snugged up real quick here. Alright, I got my handy dandy torque wrench, otherwise known as the tightest shitometer. The torque spec on my Mercedes here is about 110 foot-pounds. The guy at the rim shop said if you're doing aftermarket wheels, anywhere from 80 to 100 foot-pounds is good. I'm going to go ahead and do the 110 like they specify in the Mercedes manual. I snugged them up a little bit. Now I'll take the second step up to 110, and always remember to do the star pattern when you're tightening your lug nuts. Now they say that you don't need to recheck the torque on these, but it's always a good idea to periodically check these. Now we'll put our cap on there and see what it looks like. And don't forget to take the little plastic skin off of there. You don't want to drive down the road looking like Minnie Pearl with a price tag hanging off your hat. Now there'll usually be a threaded hole here. And you'll line these up. And whoops, I'm sitting here trying to screw up. Look at me. There's a little pin on the other side here that catches. And then use your appropriate Allen wrench or Torx or whatever it is your particular wheel comes with. And then snug them up. Now, you don't want to go tightening the dog crap out of these things, because you don't want to crack these because they're plastic. So there you have it. That's what she looks like. Now once we get all four done, then we'll have a look-see at it and see how it looks. Stay tuned. Well, lo and behold, my friend, woo, showed up. Brandon Hay. Woo! Oh. And those of you who are regular viewers of the channel will remember the work we did on his Suburban with the rear main seal and all that good stuff. I think we made a video of that. Did I ever post it?
No.
Oops.
Remember, because you accidentally overwrote
the files. Oh shit. Well, I'm gonna have to make up for it tonight, because we got to put a front pinion seal in his car, or in his Suburban. I got to get this bugger down off the rack, and we're gonna get his in. So stay tuned. Now that we're in the daylight, wheels don't look too bad. I didn't want to get anything over the top. Just wanted to keep it kind of understated. And I didn't want to have to pay $1,400 a piece for them at Mercedes, so despite my trials and tribulations of getting them mounted, as I said, always go local. Can't lose. You might pay a little more sometimes, but it's worth it. It sure as heck wasn't worth the aggravation what I had to go through to get my dang lug wheel bolts. Anyway, I think she's looking pretty good with those new wheels.